The alien ships appeared on Earth's deep space radar like wounded birds, their engines flickering and dying. Captain James Walker stood on the bridge of the EDF Defender, watching the strange vessels tumble through space. His first thought wasn't of weapons or threats. It was of the failing life support systems he could see sputtering across their hulls. "Sir," his sensor officer called out, "I'm detecting over 10,000 life signs aboard those ships. Their power systems are critical." Walker didn't hesitate. "Launch rescue shuttles. Alert medical to prepare for possible alien physiology. And get me a channel to command." Behind the struggling refugee ships, another set of signals appeared on the radar. These were different. Sharp, aggressive, moving with purpose. The biomechanical swarm vessels looked like massive insects made of metal and flesh, their weapons already powering up to finish their prey. Earth's defense fleet had never faced aliens before. Their ships were built to fight other humans, to deal with pirates and territorial disputes. But as Walker watched the refugee ships, filled with families trying to escape, he knew exactly what he had to do. "All ships, battle formations," he ordered. "We're about to show these swarm creatures why you don't hunt the helpless in Earth's backyard." The Earth ships moved into position, their thick armor and robust construction making them look primitive compared to the sleek alien vessels. But they were built to take punishment, designed by engineers who grew up on a world where everything tried to kill you. Aboard the largest refugee ship, First Speaker watched in confusion as the unknown vessels moved to intercept the swarm. The Coalition had avoided Earth precisely because it was classified as a death world, its inhabitants considered too dangerous to contact. Yet here were these same dangerous humans, putting themselves between the Coalition refugees and certain death. The swarm struck first, their energy weapons lashing out at the Earth ships. But unlike the Coalition's vessels, with their reliance on energy shields, the human ships were built like tanks. Armor plates absorbed or deflected the attacks, and Walker's voice rang out clear and calm. "Return fire. Show them what Earth guns can do." The human fleet's weapons were simple by Coalition standards: railguns, missiles, and point defense systems. But they were reliable, powerful, and most importantly, they worked perfectly in conditions that would disable more advanced technology. First Speaker watched in amazement as the primitive human weapons tore through the swarm's bio-armor. The Coalition had struggled against these enemies for months, their advanced weapons often disrupted by the swarm's biological interference fields. But the humans' simple kinetic weapons smashed through those defenses like they weren't even there. "Their ships," First Speaker whispered to his aide. "They're fighting like they're protecting their own children." The battle lasted 20 minutes. When it was over, the swarm vessels were either destroyed or retreating, and the human fleet had positioned itself in a protective circle around the refugee ships. Captain Walker had already dispatched engineering teams to help stabilize the aliens' failing systems. "This is Captain James Walker of the Earth Defense Force," he broadcast to the refugee ships. "Your engines are damaged, and your life support is failing. We're sending teams to help. Please allow our engineers aboard. We'll get your systems running again." First Speaker's hands trembled as he responded to the transmission. In all the Coalition's history, first contact with a Death World species had never happened like this. They had expected savages, brutes, creatures hardened by their harsh world into something cruel. Instead, they found protectors. As human engineering teams worked to restore power to the refugee ships, and medical teams prepared to treat the injured, First Speaker made a decision. He would tell the Coalition Council everything. How they had judged the humans wrongly, how these Deathworlders had chosen to become shields rather than weapons. The humans didn't know it yet, but they had just changed the course of galactic history. Their first introduction to the wider galaxy wasn't through war or careful diplomatic missions. It was through an act of protection, of choosing to defend strangers simply because they needed help. In the years to come, many would say this moment defined humanity's role in the galaxy, not as conquerors, not as savages, but as guardians who stood between the helpless and harm. And it all began because Captain Walker saw wounded birds in space and chose to be their shield. 3 days after the rescue, Captain Walker stood in Earth's largest conference room, facing a mixed group of human leaders and coalition representatives. The room buzzed with tension and curiosity. First Speaker stood beside him, preparing to show the gathered officials something important. "This," First Speaker said, activating a holographic display, "is your world as we see it." The image showed Earth, but classified with warning signs and danger markers. High gravity, 9.8 meters per second squared. Extreme weather patterns, dangerous wildlife, constant tectonic activity, aggressive bacterial and viral threats. The list went on. By coalition standards, First Speaker explained, Earth is what we call a death world. Most of our species evolved on worlds with 1/3 your gravity, stable weather, and minimal environmental threats. The human officials looked at each other, surprised. What they considered normal was terrifying to their new allies. Walker remembered growing up in Montana, hiking through snowstorms, fighting off bears, and dealing with forest fires, all things that were just part of life on Earth. "Watch this," First Speaker continued, playing a video from the battle. The recording showed an Earth ship taking hits that would have destroyed coalition vessels, its thick armor holding together. The crew inside, evolved to handle Earth's brutal gravity, barely noticed the impacts that would have crushed other species. "Your bodies and minds," First Speaker said, "are built to survive conditions that would kill most coalition species. What we saw as a reason to avoid you has become our greatest hope." Walker stepped forward. "You're saying our biggest weaknesses, living on a dangerous world, building primitive technology, being too tough and aggressive, are actually strengths." "Exactly." First Speaker touched a control, showing images of the swarm. "The swarm attacks by disrupting advanced technology and overwhelming our defenses with biological weapons. But your people..." He paused, looking at the humans with newfound respect. "Your immune systems fight off their biological attacks. Your simple but strong weapons ignore their disruption fields. Your bodies can handle combat maneuvers that would kill our pilots. You are, by nature, perfectly designed to fight our greatest enemy." The meeting continued for hours. Human military experts learned about coalition technology, while coalition scientists studied human biology and engineering. What emerged was a picture of two civilizations that could perfectly complement each other. Later that day, Walker walked through the temporary shelter where the coalition refugees were staying. He watched as human doctors treated alien injuries, using their experience with Earth's harsh conditions to help beings from gentler worlds. A young coalition child approached him, holding up a drawing. It showed an Earth ship protecting their refugee vessel, colored in bright, hopeful colors. Walker smiled, carefully taking the picture with his terrifyingly strong hands that, to this child, had helped save their family. "Captain," called out one of his officers, "the Coalition Council is asking for our help. 3 more refugee fleets are trying to escape swarm space. They want to know if we'll protect them too." Walker looked at the child's drawing, then at the officer. "Tell them Earth's fleet will be ready in 6 hours. And send word to all Earth nations. We need every ship we can get. The Coalition gave us a name. Deathworlders. It's time to show the galaxy that death can protect life." As preparations began for the rescue mission, First Speaker watched the humans work. Their movements were faster than Coalition species, their muscles stronger, their reactions quicker. Everything about them showed their evolution on a world that had forced them to become tough. But it was their choices that truly amazed him. These Deathworlders could have used their strength to conquer. Instead, they chose to protect. Their harsh world hadn't made them cruel. It had taught them to survive. And now they would teach others to survive too. As Earth's fleet prepared to launch, Walker received messages from ships around the world. Russian destroyers, Chinese carriers, American battleships, European frigates, all answering the call to protect those who couldn't protect themselves. The age of Earth fighting Earth was ending. Humanity had found its true purpose, to be the shield that protected gentler worlds from the harshness they had never known. What was once seen as a curse, being Deathworlders, had become their greatest gift to the galaxy. Admiral Lisa Reed stood in the combined Earth Coalition Command Center, watching as both human and alien crews tried to work together. The room was a study in contrasts. Coalition officers moved carefully in their powered assistance suits, while humans walked normally in Earth's gravity. But it wasn't the physical differences causing problems. It was their completely different ways of thinking. You can't send ships directly into their fire, a coalition commander named Blue Light argued, his translator making his worried voice clear. The energy cost of shields. We don't use shields, Admiral Reed interrupted. Earth ships use armor, thick metal plates that can take hits. We go in close because we can. On the main screen, a battle simulation played out. Coalition ships hung back, using their advanced weapons at long range, while Earth vessels pushed forward aggressively. Neither style was working perfectly against the swarm. Look, Reed said, pulling up footage from their latest victory. When we work together, it works. Your ships spot the threats with your better sensors. Our ships take the hits and get in close. Together, we're stronger than alone. The coalition officers watched as the recording showed exactly that. An Earth destroyer taking damage while a coalition cruiser used its advanced targeting to destroy swarm ships. It was a perfect combination of coalition precision and human toughness. Meanwhile, in the ship repair bays, human engineers were teaching coalition technicians about something they'd forgotten: manual repairs. Coalition ships relied on automated systems, but the swarm could hack these. Human engineers, used to fixing things by hand, were teaching their alien friends the value of a good wrench. Tom Miller, a human mechanic, showed a coalition engineer how to bypass a damaged system. Sometimes the old ways are the best ways. No computer for them to hack, just solid mechanics. The coalition engineer, whose name translated to clear sky, watched in amazement. What they had seen as primitive was actually an advantage. Their advanced systems were vulnerable to the swarm, but you couldn't hack a piece of metal. Admiral Reed called a meeting of all fleet commanders. The room filled with both humans and aliens, all focused on the same goal: survival. The swarm adapts to whatever we do, she explained. They learn to counter our tactics. So we need to be unpredictable. We need to combine our different ways of fighting in ways they can't predict. She showed a new battle plan. Coalition ships would use their advanced sensors and communication systems to coordinate the fleet. Earth ships would form the front line, their tough armor protecting the more fragile alien vessels. And between them, a new type of warfare would emerge. They expect coalition ships to stay far away, Reed continued. They expect Earth ships to charge in. But what happens when coalition precision guides Earth's toughness? When human courage meets alien technology? The plan was tested the very next day. A swarm fleet attacked a coalition mining outpost. The combined Earth coalition fleet responded, but this time they fought as one. Coalition ships detected the swarm's weak points with their advanced sensors. Earth ships charged in, their guns blazing, hitting exactly where the coalition said to hit. When swarm ships tried to hack coalition systems, they found simple Earth technology in the way. When they tried to overwhelm Earth ships, coalition weapons picked them off from range. It's working. Blue Light called out as the swarm ships began to retreat. They can't adapt to two different styles at once. Admiral Reed watched as human and coalition crews celebrated together. The coalition officers had stopped flinching at human strength, and the humans had learned to appreciate coalition precision. They were learning from each other, becoming stronger together. As the victory reports came in, Reed smiled. The galaxy was changing. Humanity wasn't just a shield anymore. They were teachers, showing their alien friends how to be tough, while learning from them how to be smart. The swarm had never faced an enemy like this before. The combined strength of Deathworld courage and coalition wisdom. And this was just the beginning. The massive Coalition shipyard buzzed with activity as engineer Tom Anderson walked through its halls. 6 months had passed since first contact, and humanity had moved from simply protecting Coalition ships to something much more ambitious. The Iron Shell program, he explained to a group of Coalition engineers, pointing at the ship under construction. We're combining your advanced technology with our tough engineering. The ship looked strange, a Coalition vessel wrapped in Earth-style armor. But the real change was inside, where human crews would work alongside Coalition teams. Anderson led the group to a testing chamber where his friend and Coalition engineer Bright Star was running simulations. "Watch this," Bright Star said, activating a test. A piece of Coalition hull material shattered under swarm weapon fire. Next to it, a piece of Earth armor dented but held. "Now watch what happens when we combine them." The third test showed their new creation, Coalition metal mixed with Earth engineering techniques. The material not only survived the hit but reflected some of the energy back. "We call it mirror armor," Anderson said proudly. "Your advanced metals, shaped using Earth manufacturing methods, stronger than either of us could make alone." But the Iron Shell program wasn't just about technology. In another part of the shipyard, human crews trained to serve on Coalition vessels. Their stronger bodies could handle damage control during battles, replacing damaged systems with tough Earth backup parts when the Coalition's advanced technology failed. Captain Mary Rivers walked through her new command, a Coalition light cruiser modified with Earth systems. Her crew was mixed, humans and Coalition members learning to work as one team. At each crucial system, they had installed both Coalition advanced technology and simple Earth backups. "If the swarm disables your advanced targeting," she explained to her Coalition weapons officer, "we switch to Earth manual targeting. If they hack your engines, we have Earth chemical rockets as backup. We're giving your ships the same toughness that Earth's dangerous environment gave us." The program was working better than anyone had expected. Coalition ships with human crews and Earth modifications were surviving battles that would have destroyed them before. The swarm's usual tactics, disrupting advanced technology and overwhelming defenses, weren't working against these hybrid vessels. In the shipyard's command center, Anderson and Bright Star looked at reports from recent battles. The numbers were clear. Ships in the Iron Shell program had triple the survival rate of standard Coalition vessels. "Your people thought Earth was too dangerous to visit," Anderson said, looking at the successful test results. "But that same danger made us perfect for this job. Every problem on Earth taught us something we could use to protect your ships." Bright Star nodded, understanding now why their different backgrounds mattered. "On our worlds, technology solved our problems. On Earth, you had to become tough enough to solve them yourselves. Now we need both." A alert sounded through the shipyard. A swarm fleet had been detected heading toward a populated system. The first wave of Iron Shell ships prepared to launch. Captain Rivers stood on her bridge, watching her human and Coalition crew work together. Earth backup systems were ready beneath the advanced Coalition technology. Mirror armor gleamed on the hull. They were ready. "All Iron Shell vessels, launch," she ordered. "Show the swarm what happens when Deathworlders and Coalition work as one." The ships moved out, each one a perfect mix of Coalition advancement and Earth toughness. Behind them, Anderson and Bright Star were already working on the next improvement, finding new ways to combine their civilization's strengths. This wasn't just about protecting Coalition ships anymore. It was about teaching two civilizations that their differences made them stronger together. Every Earth modification, every human crew member, every hybrid technology was proof that what others saw as weakness could become incredible strength. The Iron Shell program had turned humanity's harsh history into the galaxy's best defense, and it was only getting started. The Coalition hub world of New Dawn glowed like a jewel in space, home to billions of civilians from 30 different species. Now it faced the largest swarm fleet ever detected. Over 10,000 biomechanical ships approaching from multiple directions. Admiral Lisa Reed stood on the bridge of her flagship, the Earth-modified Coalition carrier, unbreakable. Around new dawn, 300 coalition ships and 200 Earth vessels prepared for battle. They were outnumbered 15-1. They picked this target on purpose, Reed said to her mixed human coalition bridge crew. They think if they destroy New Dawn, they'll break our alliance. Show them how wrong they are. The swarm struck like a tidal wave. Their ships released clouds of biological weapons that would have killed coalition crews instantly. But the Earth-modified ships' air systems, designed to handle Earth's aggressive bacteria, filtered them out easily. All iron shell vessels moved to protect coalition ships. Reed ordered. The modified ships took positions in front of their more vulnerable allies, their mirror armor reflecting enemy fire. Captain Rivers, commanding her hybrid ship, Starshield, pushed through the swarm's front line. Her human damage control teams rushed through the ship, replacing damaged coalition systems with Earth backups. When the swarm's cyber attacks knocked out their advanced targeting, they switched to Earth manual controls without missing a beat. Show them what Earth aim looks like, Rivers called out. Her gunners, used to hunting on their dangerous homeworld, fired with deadly accuracy. Coalition sensor officers called out targets, and Earth weapons struck them perfectly. But the swarm had learned too. They focused fire on the Earth ship's engines, trying to trap them in place. They launched new weapons designed to pierce mirror armor. The defenders started taking heavy losses. Admiral, a sensor officer called out. They're breaking through Sector 7. 3 coalition ships are trapped. Reed watched as a group of swarm ships surrounded 3 unmodified coalition vessels. The coalition crews, unused to such intense combat, were freezing up. Without Earth modifications, their ships were vulnerable. All Earth ships in range, Reed ordered. Protect those coalition vessels at all costs. Show them why humans never leave anyone behind. 5 Earth destroyers charged into the trap. Their thick armor cracked, their hulls burned, but they pushed through. The coalition crews watched in awe as human ships took hits that would have vaporized their vessels, refusing to break even as their armor melted. Then something unexpected happened. The coalition crews, inspired by human courage, started fighting differently. They began using their advanced weapons more aggressively, taking risks they never would have before. Look at that, Rivers said proudly, watching coalition ships fight alongside Earth vessels. They're learning to be brave. The battle raged for 6 hours. Ships were lost on both sides, but the defenders held their line around New Dawn. The swarm, facing enemies they couldn't intimidate or outmaneuver, began to retreat. In the aftermath, coalition rescue ships found something remarkable. The Earth vessels, despite taking massive damage, had incredibly high crew survival rates. Their tough construction and backup systems had kept their crews alive even when their ships were barely holding together. This is why we call you our shield, a coalition admiral told Reed as they surveyed the damage. Not just because you protect us, but because you show us how to be stronger. The Battle of New Dawn, as it came to be known, changed everything. The coalition saw that Earth ships could survive damage that would destroy their own vessels. More importantly, they saw how human courage and toughness could inspire their own people to fight harder. As repair crews worked to fix the damaged ships, Reed received a message from Earth. More ships were coming, not just military vessels, but cargo ships full of Earth metals and engineering teams ready to modify more coalition ships. The swarm had tried to break the alliance by showing its weakness. Instead, they had proven its greatest strength. Humanity's gift for survival was spreading to their coalition allies, teaching them how to be as tough as their Deathworlder protectors. The breaking point had come and gone, and the alliance had emerged stronger than ever. 2 months after the Battle of New Dawn, the combined Earth coalition fleet gathered for their first major offensive. 500 ships, half of them now modified with Earth technology, prepared to take the fight to the swarm. In the fleet's lead ship, Captain James Walker looked at the battle plan with pride. It was pure Earth thinking, aggressive, bold, and unlike anything the swarm had faced before. On Earth, He explained to the coalition commanders, "We have a saying, the best defense is a good offense. It's time to show the swarm what that means." The plan was simple but daring. Earth's toughest ships, nicknamed Berserker units by the coalition, would punch straight through the swarm's lines. Behind them, coalition vessels with their advanced weapons would widen the gap. It was a strategy born from Earth's history of warfare, adapted for space combat. Like ancient warriors breaking the shield wall, Walker said, showing tactical displays. "We crack their line, you exploit the weakness. Just like predators hunting on Earth, strike at the weak point." The first target was a major swarm staging area. As the fleet approached, Engineer Anderson and Bright Star monitored the new weapons they'd created, a combination of Earth's tough engineering and coalition energy technology. "Ready the Earthshaker missiles," Walker ordered. These new weapons, built like Earth bunker busters but powered by coalition energy cores, were designed to penetrate deep into swarm hive ships before detonating. The swarm detected them coming but didn't retreat. They never retreated. That was about to become their biggest mistake. "All Berserker units," Walker commanded, "full attack speed. Show them what Earth courage looks like." 50 heavily modified Earth ships charged forward, their mirror armor gleaming. Coalition crews watched in amazement as the human ships took hit after hit without slowing. The swarm's biological weapons splashed harmlessly against Earth-designed filters. Their cyber attacks found only simple, unhackable Earth backup systems. Behind the Berserkers, coalition ships fired their advanced weapons through gaps in the Earth formation. The combination was devastating. Earth ships smashing the swarm's defense lines, while coalition precision strikes eliminated key targets. Direct hit on the hive ship. Anderson called out as the first Earthshaker missile struck home. The massive swarm vessel shuddered as the weapon detonated inside it. Earth explosive force amplified by coalition energy technology. The swarm tried to adapt, but they faced a problem they'd never encountered. Earth tactics were too aggressive to predict, too reckless by coalition standards. And coalition weapons were too precise to evade, too advanced to counter. Together, they were unstoppable. "Look at that," Bright Star said proudly as a coalition ship performed a dangerous attack maneuver that would have been impossible for them before. "They're fighting like humans now." Walker smiled. "And our people are fighting smarter, using your targeting systems and sensors. We're learning from each other." The battle turned into a rout. The swarm, for the first time since they appeared, were being hunted instead of hunting. Each destroyed hive ship sent nearby swarm vessels into disarray, showing how dependent they were on central control. That's their weakness, Walker realized. They think like one mind, but we think like two different species working together. They can't predict what we'll do because we do things neither of us would do alone. As the swarm fleet broke apart, Walker received messages from across the battlefront. Other offensives were succeeding too. The Iron Shell program had spread, with human crews and Earth modifications protecting coalition ships across the galaxy. The tide of war was turning. Humanity had given the coalition more than protection. They had shown them how to fight back. And the coalition had given humanity more than technology. They had given them a way to use their strength to save others. Together, they had become something new. Not just allies, but teachers to each other. Earth's harsh lessons were making the coalition stronger, while coalition wisdom was making humans smarter. The swarm had never faced an enemy that grew stronger with each battle. They were about to learn why you don't underestimate Deathworlders, or the allies they protect. The final battle against the swarm took place where it all began, near Earth. The swarm, desperate and dying, had launched everything they had at humanity's homeworld. They thought destroying the Deathworlders' home would break the Alliance's spirit. They were wrong. Admiral Lisa Reed stood on her bridge, looking at the massive fleet assembled to defend Earth. Coalition ships flew alongside Earth vessels, their crews no longer afraid of the planet they once called too dangerous to visit. Earth's gravity and harsh conditions had shaped the very warriors who now protected the galaxy. All ships, battle formations. Reed commanded. Show them why you don't threaten a Deathworlders' home. The swarm attacked with a ferocity never seen before. Their bioweapons had evolved, their ships had grown stronger. But they faced something they couldn't overcome, the combined strength of two civilizations that had learned from each other. Captain Rivers' ship led a group of coalition vessels through the battle. Her coalition crew members moved with new confidence, showing the toughness they'd learned from humans. When swarm weapons struck their hull, Earth damage control teams rushed to make repairs, their strong bodies handling the stress easily. Switch to Earth backup systems. Rivers ordered as swarm cyber attacks hit their advanced technology. Without hesitation, her crew changed to simple Earth controls, never losing their fighting ability. In the engineering section, Anderson and Bright Star monitored their latest creation, the Planet Forger Cannon. It combined Earth's most powerful weapons with coalition energy technology, designed to strike at the heart of the swarm's largest ships. Target their command ship, Reed ordered. Show them what Earth and coalition can do together. The Planet Forger fired, its beam glowing with coalition energy, but shaped by Earth engineering. It struck the massive swarm command ship, piercing straight through its biological armor. The blast created a chain reaction, destroying the central control node that guided all swarm ships. But victory came at a cost. 20 Earth ships sacrificed themselves to protect coalition vessels during the battle. Their crews, knowing they might die, chose to shield their allies until the end. As the swarm fleet fell into chaos without their leader, coalition ships moved in to finish the fight. They fought with precision but also with courage, showing how much they'd learned from their human protectors. Hours later, the battle was over. The swarm was defeated, their threat to the galaxy ended. But more importantly, something new had been born. In a ceremony aboard the Coalition's greatest ship, first speaker addressed representatives from both civilizations. Today, we officially name humanity as the guardians of the Coalition. What we once feared about them, their strength, their toughness, their evolution on a dangerous world, has saved us all. Captain Walker, standing with his coalition friends, smiled as first speaker continued. The term Deathworlder will no longer be used with fear. From now on, it is a title of honor, marking those who chose to be shields rather than weapons. The changes were already visible. Coalition species were learning to handle tougher conditions, inspired by human example. Earth was sharing its survival knowledge, teaching others how to be strong. And coalition technology was making Earth safer, helping protect humans from their dangerous world. We thought Earth was too dangerous to contact, Bright Star told Anderson as they watched the ceremony. We didn't realize that danger had created exactly what the galaxy needed, protectors strong enough to defend us all. As the ceremony ended, news came in from across coalition space. The remaining swarm ships were being hunted down by combined Earth coalition fleets. But more importantly, dozens of worlds were requesting Earth teachers, wanting to learn how to be stronger. The age of fear was over. Humanity had proven that being from a death world didn't make them monsters. It made them perfect guardians. Their harsh world had taught them not just how to survive, but how to help others survive too. As Earth ships prepared to patrol coalition space, ready to protect any who needed help, Admiral Reed looked at her mixed crew with pride. Remember, she told them, we're not just warriors anymore. We're teachers, showing the galaxy that strength isn't about destroying. It's about protecting those who need protection. The Deathworlders had become the galaxy's shield, and they would never let that shield break.